Sustainable path towards developed status. CCRIS and CTOS to be excluded in application. Sarawak's commitment to zero carbon. Those are the headlines for tonight. I'm Handy Gui and this is TVS Nightline. Sarawak is prioritizing the development of renewable energy resources such as solar, wind and hydroelectric power in achieving a net zero emissions future for the state. Deputy Minister for Energy and Environmental Sustainability, Dr. Hazlan Abanghibni said the effort was proven with the organization of the 5th edition of the International Energy Week Conference and Expo.
Organized by the Ministry of Energy and Environmental Sustainability, the Expo is the largest energy event in Borneo, which will be held from 13th to 15th of June 2023. Themed Zero Carbon Future, IEU offers a unique opportunity that highlights the importance of energy and environmental sustainability.
Opportunity to highlight the importance of energy and environmental sustainability has finally come. And this year, the theme of the International Energy Week will be transitioning towards a net zero carbon future. Transitioning towards a net zero carbon future. The event will highlight Sarawak's initiative in taking the lead in harnessing its huge sustainable energy resources to power its economy and position itself as a major clean energy hub.
He added the ministry is also targeting the attendance and participation of more international investors in the future.
So this one will be new, maybe new investment by the international players. And we will also be having a business networking session to match the industry players according to the sectors. Example, electricity, hydropower, hydrogen, solar, floating solar, biofuel, wind. Yeah, those are the new energies of the world. And Sarawak is taking the lead. Yeah. Why? Because we have the resources. Yeah, we have a package, a natural package to do it. So that's why we are very serious in this expo and conference this time.
Held simultaneously are tech talks that are open to all visitors, displaying comprehensive presentations about new technologies and innovations. Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer at Business Events Sarawak, Amelia Rosiman, described the organization of the 5th edition of the International Energy Week Conference and Expo as one of the drivers to the development of the tourism sector. She said the organization is also able to generate revenue for Sarawak.
Besides the impact that this event will have towards the tourism, and the tourism receipt, as what we hear just now, we have about 450 to 700 delegates for the conference, and then 5,000 trade visitors, and also 200 exhibitors. That means it's 200 booths. And then we have, like three countries, which have the pavilion. Tourism-wise, I think it's a flourish. You can see the impact is there.
Another impact.
Yeah, tourism. But the other impact that we're looking at is that to the energy sector. So this is how today, this is how we would like, to position business events, because it's not just for tourism, but every other sector. In this case, this is energy, and also, energy. International Energy Week. It's a good example on how business event can work with different sector, developing the sector. Looking into how the sector can, transform Sarawak economic, social, and also environmental.
The Employees Provident Fund (EPF) is recommended to introduce a scheme tailored to its contributors' needs. UNIMAS Lecturer of Economics Dr. Zul Hazwan Husaini is of the opinion that the scheme should exclude details of an individual's Central Credit Reference Information System (CCRIS) and their CTOS score.
He added that the move aims to ensure that the scheme can be expanded further, especially to cater to the small and medium enterprises, SMEs.
Untuk memastikan KWSP itu kekal bersifat kontemporari dan relevan sepanjang masa, kerajaan perlu mempelbagaikan kemudahan yang boleh ditawarkan oleh pihak KWSP kepada ahlinya agar ramai rakyat terutamanya yang terlibat dalam sektor PKS dan informal untuk menjadi ahli. Saya mengambil contoh, mungkin KWSP boleh membuat kemudahan pinjaman atas kapasiti simpanan ahli itu sendiri, mungkin seperti keperluan pengeluaran untuk tujuan perniagaan, dan skim ini menuntut mereka untuk memulangkan kembali jumlah itu ke tabung pelaburan mereka sendiri.
Commenting further, he said that the bank loan collateral should have an appropriate threshold value according to the members' income group.
Berkenaan dengan inisiatif kerajaan dalam memberi satu akses kepada ahli untuk menjadikan simpanan mereka di KWSP itu sebagai satu cagaran untuk mendapat pinjaman dari bank, saya berharap jikalau itulah solusi yang diberi oleh kerajaan, yang mana KWSP ini adalah di bawah kawal selia kerajaan, saya berharap proses ataupun permohonan bagi skim ini tidak melibatkan tafisan CCRIS dan juga CTOS. Kerajaan harus membuat keputusan nilai ambang ataupun jumlah maksimum yang boleh mereka cagarkan. Mungkin tidak maksimum ataupun separuh. Sebab kadang-kadang terdapat kumpulan tertentu itu mungkin 1,000 ataupun 2,000 itu bernilai untuk mereka, namun kecil di pandangan kita.
He said that when asked to comment on the latest statement by the Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim in regard to the proposal to allow the use of EPF contributions as collateral for loans.
Environmental sustainability remain one of the cores in tandem with Sarawak's pursuit of becoming a developed state by 2030. Deputy Minister of Public Health and Housing Michael Tiang believes that the economic activities and undertakings will not be at the expense of the environment. He said this when officiating the Climate Change Action Plan seminar organised by the Cebu Municipal Council SMC today. Tiang, who is also the Palawan Assemblyman, said the call to address climate change was more urgent now because if nothing was done, more cities would be submerged. In addition, homes and lives would be destroyed, food would be scarce, poverty would increase and people would starve, which eventually weakened the economy. TVS will serve an array of Ramadan shows and telemovies for the whole family throughout the holy month of Ramadan. Sarawak Media Group SMG Chief Executive Officer Rizal Zulkapli said these programs, which feature diverse Sarawakian content, offer a different perspective and a refreshing twist to the Ramadan lineup.
I think banyak berkenaan dengan bagaimana mereka di Sarawak menyambut bulan-bulan ini. Untuk Ramadan, untuk raya, untuk gawai, kita dapat lihat perspektif yang berbeza dan perspektif yang lebih segar dan menarik ditayangkan di kaca TV. Untuk Ramadan ada resepi-resepi menarik yang dihidangkan di Sarawak sewaktu bulan Ramadan. Untuk raya kita ada sambutan hari raya daripada segi kacamata mereka yang menyambut di Sarawak. Kemudian untuk gawai kita ada beautiful colours and stories berkenaan dengan gawai dan juga berkenaan dengan budaya di sini.
According to Rizal, TVS special programs highlights its commitment to inspire the audience's world, would feature Aroma Sungke, Salam Nusantara, Suntong Tutok, and Lantun Detektif Raya.
Dan ini juga adalah platform yang terbaik untuk bakat-bakat dari Sarawak mengetengahkan idea mereka. I think it's fun to be in Sarawak right now. 2023 dengan pelbagai festival, pelbagai perayaan dengan aktiviti ekonomi yang terus rancak, I think it's going to be a good year for TVS, for Sarawak and for other industries in Sarawak, termasuk pelancongan, business events di Sarawak, dan we hope that TVS boleh membawakan kandungan-kandungan ini di kaca TV anda dan juga di platform-platform digital kami.
He said this at Sarawak Uncovered sneak peek at TVS latest Gem event in Kuching on Monday.
Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg earlier today received a courtesy visit from the Director General of the Implementation Coordination Unit in the Prime Minister's Department, Dato' Sri Wan Ahmad Dahlan Abdul Aziz, at his office in Wisma Bapa, Malaysia. The purpose of the visit is to strengthen cooperation between the federal government and the Sarawak government, while at the same time introducing himself after reporting for duty on February 20th.
Apart from that, among the things discussed are the role and functions of ICU in assisting the Sarawak government to monitor the development projects that have been implemented.
Jadi dalam pertemuan tersebut, Premier juga menyatakan beberapa perkara yang perlu diberi penumpuan oleh pihak persekutuan, terutamanya di dalam membantu kerajaan Sarawak di dalam pelaksanaan projek-projek yang diberikan dengan nilai 50 juta ke bawah, di mana kami akan bekerjasama untuk membantu memantau supaya projek itu tidak menjadi lewat jadual ataupun menjadi projek sakit. Perkara ini amat penting kerana kejayaan sesuatu projek diselesaikan dalam tempoh yang ditetapkan akan memberi keselesaan dan juga memberi manfaat kepada rakyat.
He added ICU will also help the government's efforts towards poverty eradication and monitor the construction of control posts at the country's border.
Premier juga membangkitkan berkaitan dengan isu-isu supaya kerjasama yang lebih erat lagi dapat kita gembelengkan antara federal dengan kerajaan negeri, terutamanya di dalam melihat sempadan negara kita dengan pembinaan pos-pos kawalan dan juga berkaitan dengan ICQS, supaya kita seiring dengan pembangunan Nusantara di Kalimantan. Jadi peranan ICU saya akan perkemaskan lagi untuk memastikan projek yang dirancang dengan sepadan pihak Indonesia itu dilaksanakan dengan masa yang tepat.
Previously, Wan Ahmad Dahlan has been in the civil service for 28 years, beginning his career as an assistant secretary at the Ministry of Transportation on January 25, 1995. He has also served as Home Ministry's Secretary General and also as the Comptroller of the Royal Household at Istana Negara.
We'll be taking a short break coming up right after disaster risk reduction. Giant corporations to fund TVET education. Right here on TVS Nightline, stay tuned. Hello there and welcome back. Now, flood mitigation projects will be expedited to reduce the impact of the disaster in the future. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim said Treasurer Secretary General Dato Johan Mahmud Marikant had been instructed to hasten the project implementation.
The Treasury has been ordered to speed up the tender process.
Langkah-langkah segera dari sudut umpamanya membeli water jet dan sebagainya itu telah pun dilakukan dan saya harap ini akan dapat membantu.
He said this when flagging off the post-flood Civil Service Volunteer Team (PSPA) to Johor today. A total of 1,520 civil servants representing various ministries, departments and government agencies are participating in the two-day post-flood mission, particularly in areas in the Batu Pahat district. According to a statement issued by the Prime Minister's Department, in conjunction with today's event, the mission will focus on the cleaning of medical and educational facilities, government buildings and public places. On March 17, Anwar instructed all ministry machinery to help in post-flood operations in Johor and that the Finance Ministry had approved an additional allocation of 150 million ringgit for the purpose.
Kehadiran saudara, percayalah bagi rakyat di bawah kita tekan itu akan memberi makna dan arti yang sangat besar. Saya hanya mampu berdoa kepada Allah Taala, mudah-mudahan saudara dapat menjalankan tugas dengan ikhlas al-amalillah dan diberkati dan diperkuatkan tekad menghadapi Ramadan Mubarak.
The number of flood victims in Batu Pahat, Johor was reported to have dropped to 6,740 following the closure of 3 evacuation centres. Also present at the event today were Deputy Prime Minister Dato Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Sabah, Sarawak Affairs and Special Functions, Dato Armizan Muhammad Ali, and Chief Secretary to the Government, Tan Sri Muhammad Zuki Ali.
Now, Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim called upon giant and multinational corporations to facilitate in the funding of technical and vocational education and training TVET in the country. He said that they would directly assist the people through acquisition, maintenance and training.
Jadi pendekatan kita ialah meminta syarikat-syarikat membantu langsung sama ada projek-projek rakyat miskin atau dalam kes ini secara khusus TVET, kerana TVET itu latih anak-anak muda kita, majoriti Melayu, Bumiputera, untuk meningkatkan kemahiran, mendapat peluang pekerjaan yang lebih baik dan upah atau gaji yang lebih tinggi.
He said this during the minister's question time in the Dewan Rakyat on Tuesday. The companies include Sunway Berhad, Berjaya Corporation Berhad, companies registered with the Associated Chinese Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Malaysia, Telecom Malaysia, and Al-Bukhari Group of Companies. Meanwhile, answering to a supplementary question from Cha Ki-Chin regarding taxes should be used to help the poor, he said that the current government was adopting a new approach by getting large companies to financially help the target group instead of donating for political influences.
On another development, Anwar fears for the future of EPF members as the number of EPF members aged below 55 with savings of less than 10,000 ringgit had reached 6.7 million people. He said the majority of them are Bumiputras with median savings below 5,000 ringgit.
He said through the method of applying for bank loans, the interests of EPF members would not be jeopardized as they would continue receiving dividends on the savings used as collateral.
Bilangan ahli KWSP berumur bawah 55 tahun dengan simpanan kurang RM10,000 mencecah 6.7 juta. Dan majoriti, kalau kita tengok rekod, adalah di kalangan Melayu Bumiputera yang dapat secara median purata RM4,937 sahaja yang tinggal dalam simpanan.
He said this when replying to a supplementary question from Sungai Besar Member of Parliament, Datuk Muslimin Yahya, on whether the proposal would breach the EPF Act and whether the Prime Minister had sought advice from the Attorney General on the matter. He added EPF wanted contributors to use the Islamic loan facility but would not stop members, whether Muslims or non-Muslims, from borrowing on conventional rates.
The government will not adopt a populist approach by considering another round of withdrawals from EPF members' savings, as it will impact EPF's ability to manage its funds. Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli said taking out the money of the EPF would limit its investment option strategies and eventually impact the dividends paid to contributors. Rafizi said, for the good of the nation, the government would not resort to populist measures despite facing immense pressure from a group of people. Noting that for the tough market conditions in 2023 and 2024, EPF needs to have a resilient and robust fund to protect the majority of EPF depositors, who are mainly small depositors. He expressed hope that within 5 years, the people would understand the government's decision and be able to appreciate it. Now, the Malaysian Palm Oil Board, MPOB, in collaboration with Tsinghua University in China, is set to conduct research on field studies using palm biodiesel in Chinese-made vehicle engines. Deputy Prime Minister Dato Sri Fadila Yusof said the cooperation also involves laboratory studies and the feasibility of producing palm biojet as sustainable aviation fuel.
Adding further, Fadila said MPOB is collaborating with 6 local universities to conduct a trial study of diesel engines using B30 biodiesel blend.
Pelaksanaan penggunaan biodiesel sawit adalah langkah strategik kerajaan melalui Kementerian Perdagangan dan Komoditi bagi mengalahkan penggunaan minyak sawit dalam negara serta bertujuan untuk mengukuhkan dan mentadbirkan harga minyak sawit dalam jangka masa panjang.
He was replying to a question from Tanjung Piai Member of Parliament, Datuk Seri Dr. Wee Jack Seng, who wondered if the government is ready to conduct a trial of biofuel production from palm oil, as Indonesia has done. Fadila, who is also the Plantation and Commodities Minister, said the use of biodiesel from palm oil can also contribute to sustainability and improve the image of the country's palm oil industry.
Di samping mengurangkan penggunaan bahan api berasaskan fosil sekaligus dapat mengurangkan pelepasan gas rumah hijau.
The National Biodiesel Program was implemented in phases, starting with the B5 Biodiesel Program, which is a blend of 5% palm biodiesel with 95% petroleum diesel from the land transport sector in 2011. The program was then expanded to the B7 biodiesel program and implemented nationwide in 2014, followed by the B10 biodiesel program in 2019.
Now on to some international affairs. The French government, led by its President Emmanuel Macron, narrowly survived a motion of no confidence in the National Assembly after bypassing the lower house to push through a deeply unpopular change to the pension system. A successful no confidence vote would have sunk his government and killed his legislation, which is set to raise the retirement age by 2 years to 64. But Macron's temporary sense of relief could be short-lived.
In addition, unions and protesters have vowed to carry on with strikes and protests against the legislation.
As you could have understood, the hundreds of thousands of people who are now gathering together every day in the entire country since last Thursday and since Macron bypassed the assembly will not stop just because this motion of no confidence has barely failed, just lacking 9 little votes. Nothing has been fixed in the country, and the country continues to head towards a political crisis that Macron himself started.
French lawmaker Marine Le Pen said Macron should call a referendum on the legislation but was unlikely to do so.
Yes, this motion of no confidence failed, but it only needed 9 little votes. That's a lot less than what was forecast by several polls done by political analysts and journalists. And so, this means that although numbers-wise, they could rejoice, politically, they cannot rejoice.
In the past few days, the country has been witnessing violent disturbance, with trade unions vowing to escalate their strikes, presenting Macron with his most significant test of leadership since the Yellow Vest Rebellion over 4 years ago. A 9th nationwide day of strikes and protests is scheduled on Thursday, March 23.
Now wrapping up the Nightline, Russian media said 2 Russian strategic bomber planes flew over the Sea of Japan for more than 7 hours as Japan's Prime Minister was beginning a visit to Ukraine. The planes are reportedly capable of carrying nuclear weapons, and Moscow regularly flies them over international waters in the Arctic, North Atlantic and Pacific as a show of strength.
The timing of the latest flight Tupolev Tu-95MS appeared more pointed than usual as Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida was due in Kiev later on a visit to show solidarity with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in the war against Russia. Russia said the strategic bombers made a planned flight escorted by fighter planes. Its defense ministry said it was carried out in strict compliance with international law and was made over neutral waters. In February, North American Air Defense Forces was sent to intercept several Russian strategic bombers and fighter jets as they flew over international airspace near Alaska. Japan, which has its own territorial dispute with Moscow over islands in the North Pacific that dates back to the end of the World War II, is a key Asian ally of the United States and a member of the group of 7 rich democracies and has joined Western sanctions against Russia.
And that's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. I'm Hendy Gui. Thank you for watching.